Hold the applause. Hold the applause. Welcome back to the final segment of Investing with Confidence, sponsored by Online Trading Academy on their 25th year, teaching people skills and techniques to use the financial markets, whether they're using their 401ks, IRAs, or regular trading accounts. They have an office locally here in Bloomington next to the Mall of America and have investing classes every single week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and on Saturdays as well. If you happen to miss 2 tickets for that investing class right here in Bloomington, call 952 814-4410 or text the word invest to the number 484848. When you do that, you'll receive a text back. Pick a date for the class. When you get registered for this class during this show, you're going to receive a financial quick start kit. And there's a few topics on there that I think you just might like. Al, you want to get into another topic in this this great show we've been doing here today. Great volatility in the markets, big moves. Some people are nervous. Some people are excited about these great moves, right? Mm-hmm. Now, we see everyday people that come into these classes, into the academy, just everyday people that want to learn how to trade and invest. And just so our listeners understand, we talk a lot about the institutions, the big banks, the Buffetts of the world. So you don't have to be a professional to be in the market. You just have to understand a strategy and trade like those professionals. Right. So talk about some of the different types of people, Al, that you work with here at Online Trading Academy.
Yeah, well, the great thing is, Josh, I think I mentioned this earlier, the people out there that have the big bucks, the smart money, the Wall Street institutions, they are really doing all the work for us. So all we have to do is do what you're not supposed to do in school, which is copy what they're doing. And fortunately for us, they tell us what they're doing. They're leaving kind of footprints or little messages in the market for us to follow. So as far as the students that we see come in here, I mean, you can pick pretty much any profession you can think of, any job you can think of, pretty much any world situation or lifetime situation, and we see those people here as students.
Everyday people here in Minneapolis.
They're everyday people. Nobody is born with the skills or the ability to be a trader or investor. That's a learned skill. It's something that takes some time, but it takes the access to the right knowledge, and it takes access to somewhere that can help you build the skills to use that knowledge. So you don't have to have any special skills. You don't have to have any special background to be able to do this. What we want to do is try to simplify this and eliminate what are some of the fallacies that are out there that Wall Street has kind of perpetrated on us. They're going to try to convince you that it's too hard for you to do this. You need help. Where do you find that help? Well, Wall Street has their arms open. They're more than willing to try to help you, but you really don't need that because they're actually giving us all the stuff that they should be using to help you, but in fact are not. They're in this business for their bottom line, which sometimes means that they may not be doing what's in your best interest.
Yep, and just to be clear too, I mean, we're not. It's funny. There's a lot of things out there, and we're not supposed to say anybody can do this because you know what, anybody can, and that's why we were talking about those different traits we were looking for earlier. I believe that was in the first section. You have to be coachable, so you have to be willing to learn, which I think a lot of people know how to do that. You have to be disciplined, so you have to follow a rules-based strategy, but then you have to be decisive. And that's one of the things that we really like is people that can be decisive because then it's easier to teach them techniques and strategies than you're able to really kind of, pull the trigger or click the button on how to get in investments. So, it's not everybody can do this, but anybody that wants to learn has the ability or the opportunity to find that education. And you teach a lot of those different things and concepts, I should say, in these investing classes right here on Bloomington, Al. And you teach these, you do them during the weekends, on the weekday as well. The great thing is they're about 2 hours, and they're local. And we talk to a lot of people, and one of the things I think I hear a lot is people say, hey, I've been looking for a physical class to teach me techniques and skills on how to, whether it's having the opportunity to have income potential in the market or income potential with their retirement accounts. So I want to invite everybody to an investing class right here in Bloomington. Call 952-814-4410 or text the word invest to the number 484848. Al, with these great volatile markets, I feel like we almost have to recap these markets again because huge moves. But you know what? People just don't feel safe making changes or making any investment decisions in their accounts.
Sure.
How do you help people get out of that fear? Because it's really following a plan.
Well, it is following a plan, and everybody's a little bit different as to how they learn, how they want to approach things financially, what their needs are, what their goals are. So first of all, we make sure everything is specific to you, to whatever uniqueness you have. But also understand that most people don't know how the markets really function. And once you learn that, once you learn how they function, who is causing price to move, who's causing the things to happen in the market that are really factually worth paying attention to. And that's what we do. Our core strategy was developed, created, and fine-tuned by people that worked on the floor of the exchanges. These are the guys that traded in such large quantities that they could see what was moving the price of something. And it was really them with the big trades they were making. So because of the way the institutions have to trade, our core strategy really is designed to take advantage of that, keep it simple, and just follow what factually is important.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, the floors of the exchange, because trading back then was a lot different than it is now. The movies portray trading as something that's just wild and crazy. I want you to talk real quick. You're really getting close to the end of the show, and just talk real quick about kind of a day in the life of an investor that actually has an investment plan.
Yeah, it's really not much different than the day that you have right now. Maybe it's a half an hour if you want to just kind of pay attention to what's happening on a regular basis.
Basically, you can dictate your own time.
You choose what time you want to do this, when you want to do it. And then speaking of time, there are assets out there, a couple of them that we mentioned, futures and Forex, that trade 24 hours a day.
Good point, yeah.
And so you don't have to be available just during the 6.5 hours that the stock market's open.
Yep.
That gives you a lot more opportunities, and it also gives you the ability to look at one part of the financial market that might have an impact on another part of it. But you dictate, you choose what you want your day to look like. If you don't want to do anything dealing with the financial markets, you don't have to. And by the way, you can go anywhere that there's an internet connection, and you can do this. If you have a cell phone, that's a trading vehicle.
And I think that's why there's so many people getting into the markets right now. I think last week you talked about, was it 20 million new accounts? And that was with just one broker, I think you said, wasn't it?
Well, it's all new accounts in the market. I think in this year it was around 20 million.
Okay.
It's huge, a huge number of new people that for the most part don't know what they're doing.
But that's a good thing for us, because really the exchange, how the markets work, is the concept is actually pretty simple.
Yes.
It's an exchange of money. That's all it is. And I know you talk about that in these investing classes, but it's an exchange of money from the people that don't know what they're doing to the people that do. And that's really all it is. So what's the most important thing to do but when you get in the markets is get educated. You don't want to get educated by the markets. So when you talk about that transfer of capital, Al, what are some of the aha moments, do you think, when you're teaching these classes that people get during these investing classes?
Well, when they understand really how simple the movement of price is in the markets, whether you're looking at individual stocks or whether you're looking at a futures position or a Forex position or an options position, something is causing price to move. The important thing is for you to be prepared, so when that price movement takes place, you're already positioned to benefit from that. It's much more simple than people realize. It's just that there's so many people out there that are benefiting from all these different strategies that they're trying to teach, that they push as being the magic bullet to being successful.
You mean there isn't a magic golden nugget in trading and investing now?
There is not, Josh, but you don't have to try to learn everything first of all.
There you go. That's a good point.
Yeah, and there's something that might be a right path for one person to take that's totally different than the path that another person takes, but both of those paths get them to the point where their goals are achieved.
Yeah, that's what you have to do, is have the potential to reach those goals, but it really starts with that one thing. There was an actual, I'm sure most people know that lady that created Spanx, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
She said the number one thing for people to have success, and this was I think it was an Instagram post that she had. Sarah Blakely is her name.
Right.
And the number one thing, or the number one trait you need to have is taking action. Because if you don't take action, nothing will change. And that's one of the most important things, I believe, as well. It's a great quote that I read. But, I mean, Al, it's getting close to the end of the show. And a lot of our listeners have taken action over this past hour. They've called in and texted because they want to do something different, right? Have the opportunity to have income potential during their working years, potentially a second source. I mean, that's an opportunity for people, or even having that same thing or the opportunity to create that during retirement. Now, these classes that we talk about every single week, they're 2 hours, right? It's 2 hours of your time. Learn the techniques and strategies that the institutions are doing, not what the novice is doing, and trade like them. So call 952-814-4410 for 2 tickets for this class, or text the word invest to the number 484848. When you register for this class, you're going to get, I'm going to do a financial quick start kit. There's 3 retirement strategies that Wall Street doesn't talk about. Strategies to profit from a stock sell-off, but also how to actually calculate a rate of return on investment. Al, you always have OTA tips of the week. Let's hear it this week.
Well, you know what, Josh? The difference between people that achieve their goals and those that don't is that those that achieve their goals took action. So if you want to make a change or need to make a change, that might mean taking a chance to do something different, something that will help you realize the goals that you're trying to achieve. You know, the future is a blank slate. At the Online Trading Academy, our goal is to help our students go into that future with strategies in place that increase the odds of achieving the change that they want.
That's very powerful. I mean, just be like Sarah Blakely. Take action and do that now. One last set of tickets for the investing class right here on Bloomington. Call 952-814-4410 or text the word invest to the number 484848 for 2 tickets for this investing class right here in Bloomington. As always, same time, same place next week. Until then, retire young, my friends.